Hello, hello. It's another day of streaming. We continue where we left off in Wanderlust travel stories. And how's everyone's day today? I have an okayish day. The weekend was quite amazing though. I attended a boot camp, met some friends. Traveling. I remember I used to travel a lot a few years ago. Recently, not so, but I am gonna be in Australia in June, attending a wedding of my friends. I'm quite happy for them. What I know is June is the beginning of winter. I hope the clothes that I prepare is warm enough. Hopefully, everything will be good. Let's see. I wonder what our adventures will bring us. I remember the last when we stopped. Let me see. Uh, the lady was in Thailand, Khao San Road, and she just checked into the hostel, which I check. It is quite expensive for that kind of establishment. Have any one of you um, have like accommodation which didn't match the price? Lots of times we would have leave a review or try to maybe change a room. Not sure if it helps, because if the whole hotel is almost the same standard, it wouldn't help even if it's another room. Hopefully, this lady's adventure would be interesting. I don't know. Hmm. I miss traveling. All those unknown adventures and stuff. All right. Without delaying further, shall we go on the adventure? I like the food in Thailand. It was really great. Let's continue. It's taking a little bit longer to load. Let's see. We stop at here. Shall we go meet people or shall we rest? It's just the evening. Let's go meet some. Let's see if there's any people in the common room. The common room was big and bright. Inside were 2 sofas, some beanbags, a few tables with chairs, and a lot of people. A huge TV on one of the walls was set to a music channel. I sat at one of the tables and looked around. The crazy camera gentleman. Oh, that's a great choice of clothes. Sorry, can I take your picture? The words were pronounced in a perfect English accent, and the person asking was a tall blonde guy with a camera. A very good camera. I knew, as I had seen my share of cameras during my studies. Why? I asked. I'm doing a photo project. In fact, it's my magnum opus. I want to collate bright, colorful, energetic portraits with desaturated beaches, the sea, and mountain landscapes. Culture versus nature, you know. Man's world filled with stimulation, emotions, expectations, violence, filth, charity and goodness, mundane and magic, versus beautiful black and white photos of nature. Nature doesn't need us. I've been planning this project for years. I let him do the photo, and he expertly took several in quick successions. Thailand is great for this project. You have all these people, but you don't have to look very far to find pure, beautiful nature. I mostly photograph natives, but sometimes also tourists. If they have a certain gleam in their eyes, I'm quite accomplished as a photographer. You know, I've worked with big brands, but I always felt I need something more. A mission. He seemed like an interesting person. We talked for a while, and as we did, he took more photos of me, of other tourists if they were okay with it, and of the hostel. A young Thai woman carrying a huge box of fruit walked past, and he snapped a few pictures of her. He didn't ask for her permission, and I asked him about it. Sometimes, he said, you need to ask a person to pose to extract what's hidden, and sometimes you have to see things and be fast. He sure had passion. Thank you. He smiled. I need to go now. But maybe you'll like to grab a beer sometime later. You're staying here, right? With that, he left. Soon, I felt a sudden wave of tiredness and went back to my room. Back in my room. Someone had moved in when I wasn't here. The person had left a Spanish book on the bed but was now nowhere to be seen. I had a lot of sightseeing planned for the next day, so I cleaned my teeth and went to sleep. The jet-lag morning. I opened my eyes slowly. The room was filled with light, and it wasn't the early morning kind. I reached for my phone and saw it was past 9 in the morning. I had slept for more than 12 hours. In Berlin, it was the middle of the night. 2 in the morning? I often went to sleep at this time, or later. I put a pillow over my head. Then, when I woke up again, it was noon. The person at reception looked at me compassionately when I dragged myself downstairs. Jet lag, huh? They asked with a smile. They were beautiful, feminine, and had the most intricate manicure I've ever seen. I wonder if I should ask for their pronouns, but I didn't know if it'll be okay. If you want something to eat, you should try mango sticky rice. Tourists say it's great for breakfast. In the morning, you can catch some Western breakfasts, but I don't think they serve them at noon. I thanked them and went to look for some breakfast. Outside, I found and bought the mango sticky rice. It was indeed delicious, very sweet with a pleasant coconut flavor. While eating, I decided to plan my day as I've wasted enough time already. I remembered a flyer I had taken the previous day from the travel agency. I could start with some shopping or a trip to the market. It was too late to visit Chatuchak, but there were markets and malls along the river. Let's go to the river. The river that suited me. All the travel guides say that boarding a boat on Chao Phraya River was the best way to see Bangkok during the rush hours. So I went to the Phra Pier and waited. I needed a boat going south to the Grand Palace and the temples, and then further to the more modern part of Bangkok with its skyscrapers and business. Waiting for the boat, I watched the river and a group of laughing tourists sitting on their backpacks near me. They made me think of my friends. They'll have fun here for sure. But as soon as I thought that, I realized that I didn't need them here. After a while, the boat came. It was white and orange with an orange banner that meant it It stopped at almost every pier. I boarded it. The water cooled the air around us. Seen from the river, Bangkok looked uninhabited. The water making it odorless and quiet. An architectural patchwork of secular and sacred, tradition and modernity, poverty and luxury. It was so different from what I got to know in my short time here. The girls who were waiting at the same stop as me when I entered the boat were talking in English. Judging by the accent, I thought they were probably American. On the river. From the boats, you could get to the SkyTrain, an aerial railway, from water to air, from traditional to high-tech. It was an unusual contrast. I felt like everyone around me knew that I just got here. I tried to look indifferent, but I couldn't hide the awe in my wide-eyed expression. Different boats of varying types. Different boats of varying types and sizes passed us. Motorboats, shopping boats loaded with fruits, and even sleek-looking luxury hotel boats. The boat stopped at Taprachan Pier, and I was told the amulet market was nearby. Back on Chao Phraya. The varied and brightly colored landscape was changing like the view through a spinning kaleidoscope. The varied and brightly colored landscape was changing the view through a spinning kaleidoscope. Sky, water, piers, hotels, temples, wooden huts, and glass-covered skyscrapers. People were boarding and leaving the boat, but I had no intention of moving from my place. I leaned over the water and let the cooling wind soothe my face as I watched the passing piers. We stopped near Maharaj Mall, and it didn't look like a typical mall at all. The flock of bright, modern buildings perched like birds nesting on the shore. Thai shopping. I got out near Maharaj, a mall just over the riverbank between some temples. Was everything in Bangkok surrounded by temples? The mall's architecture was pleasing and different. Several low pavilions covered with a roof that looked like a sail. The flyer I took at the entrance said that it was built to defy the traditional architecture of shopping centers. This one was meant to be a part of the landscape, focusing on the experience of the visitors and not the shopping. And actually, I didn't see many shops there. Instead, I found a wide selection of cafes and restaurants. There was also a garden, a promenade over the river, massage salons, and even a place to practice yoga and Tai Chi. In the main food court, there was only Thai cuisine if you ignore the Starbucks. I bought myself a coffee and a bowl of tom yum. I watched the colorful crowd milling around on the promenade, the sparkling ribbon of the river, and the picturesque temples on the horizon. The air was hot and humid, smelling of something sweet and rotten, of exhaustion and spices. The sun shone down on my still embarrassingly pale arms. I needed to go on an honest-to-God shopping spree, but there were no real shops here. I knew there were huge malls in Bangkok, Siam Paragon with its underground oceanarium and 16-screen movie theater, Central World, River City, MBK Mall. All I needed was to get to the metro, and there I was, surrounded by the huge buildings that waited for my money. I felt as if I've arrived on another planet. There was traffic everywhere, tuk-tuks and taxis honking their horns, neon lights blinking, people, both tourists and Thais alike, crowded on narrow sidewalks laden with shopping bags. MBK was the nearest mall, so I went there. It had 8 floors. 8! And every one of them was filled with shops. They said there was over 2,000 of them. Clothes, accessories, handbags, luggage, furniture, cell phones, electronics. Every shop was advertising some kind of discount or promotion. Nothing made any sense. There were whole labyrinths of clothes. Next to them, a juice stall. And further on, a toy shop. It was just like one of the Bangkok markets, only enclosed in a building and called a mall. Nevertheless, I felt like I was still seeing some kind of tourist attraction. I was very determined to buy something nice, even if I had to visit every one of the 2,000 shops. I grabbed a cartload of clothes that were on promotion. Tops, shorts, t-shirts. Nothing fancy, but they were all colorful, Nothing fancy, but they were all colorful, comfortable, and extremely cheap. Let's see. I spread all my clothes in front of me. I wonder, what should I wear? I check myself in the mirror, then I change. I decided to wear shorts, a tank top, and flip-flops. I wanted to get a suntan. I left the changing room and looked around, waiting for something to capture my waiting for something to capture my attention. Let's get the dress. I found a lovely long azure dress. Good sandals. That's what I was missing. By now, I had had enough. So, that was how they did shopping in Thailand? Interesting. I went back to the pier. Now it's afternoon. Shall we go back? Or shall we? I boarded the boat heading south. The sun was hot and merciless. In this heat, everything was more intense. It was as if someone had increased the saturation of the world. The roofs of historical buildings towered over the city. I didn't know where to look so that I didn't miss anything. We were on the pier near Old City with its halls and temples. Shall we stay on board or disembark? Let's just stay on board. The boat ride. I was thirsty all the time. I didn't want to take photos. My camera wouldn't capture the atmosphere of the city well enough. No matter what British photographers thought about it, maybe I could draw. The Temple of the Dawn, Wat Arun, had a tower that looked like a corn cob. I wonder how much of Bangkok was a spectacle performed just for me, a tourist, a pharaoh. We passed the enormous memorial bridge. There were crowds everywhere. All the people and their varied clothing, their chatter, the mixture of perfumes, spices, and food. There were so many stimuli. I liked the way the Thai girls dressed. They mixed their shawls, wrapping them around their waist over rock band t-shirts. From the deck, I could see the roofs of Chinatown. For me, the cities that had a river were livelier. They had a pulse, a personality, and a story to tell. Crowds, noises, smells. There were so many stimuli. With so many things on every side, I didn't know where to look from one moment to the next. I was staring wide-eyed in awe at the city around me. Oh, hey! Hey, thanks. Hey. I think I have a lot of mispronunciation though. Let's see, where did I stop? I got lost looking at the hodgepodge of roofs. The sun was hot and merciless. In this heat, everything was more intense. The river was the lifeblood of the city. We were in Silom, the modern Bangkok district, filled with skyscrapers. It was here my boat stopped for good. Getting to know the city. The sun had set, and I thought it was a great occasion to see Bangkok by night. There was no hurry, so stopping by for a bite or taking a few pictures was definitely part of the plan. There were so many people in the streets, every single person so different and colorful. Young tourists in shorts and barely their halter tops. Older ladies in long skirts and patterned blouses. Young women in smart jackets and silk shawls. Psychedelic teen hippies with dreadlocks and piercings. Seasoned travelers in practical linen clothing. And me in shorts, a tank top, and flip-flops. How did people see me? How did I want to be seen? I took a step back and started to consider it. I wanted to blend in, to find a sweet spot between the young Thais who had adopted Western clothes and the Westerners fascinated by local textiles and fashion. I couldn't hide the fact that I was a Farang, but I didn't want to flaunt it. Bangkok by night. In the entrance of my hostel, I almost crashed with a guy taking out the trash. Several big plastic bags, foul smelling and full to the point of bursting, were still in the corridor. I was back home. But the day was far from over. The Thai nightlife was calling me. Besides, my friends back home would never stop laughing at me if they heard that I spent my evenings in Bangkok shut in the room. I went out for a beer. The girl who saved me. Drinking a beer alone wasn't fun at all. I wanted to find some company, but it was company that found me and saved me from my solitude. Her name was Anna. She was from Spain and had come here 3 months ago. She was actually here on some kind of student or graduate exchange on Bali. But she was sightseeing in Asia as often as she could. I asked her about Bangkok. She told me that she didn't really like the city, but that in Thailand I could totally see Chiang Mai and Pai. Chiang Mai was said to be the spiritual center of the country, and Pai was full of outsiders and artists. I told her about my day. She sat with her head cocked, listening with an intrigued expression while she sipped her beer. You went shopping? Didn't you have enough malls back home? Every mall was different, especially abroad. You could learn a lot about the country by visiting its malls. We talked for a while and then lost track of time talking even more. And I came home around midnight. The hostel room. There were 2 Japanese tourists in my room. They smiled at me, but didn't talk much. Lying in bed, I thought about what I should do the next day. I couldn't forget what Anna said, that There was more to Thailand than Bangkok. Let's leave. I decided to leave Bangkok. The rest of the country was more appealing to me. The last day. I woke up. Bangkok was still there, but I wanted more. I had barely scratched the surface of the city, and yet other parts of Thailand were calling me. Maybe I would come back here once more during my journey. Maybe I would come back here once more during my journey. It was time to check out. Then I had to decide where I wanted to go next. Leaving Bangkok. There were two directions that I found interesting. I could go to the islands to spend some time on the beach and just unwind, or I could choose north, the jungle-covered misty mountains and the elephants. Maybe there I would get to know something about myself. Mountains and culture, beaches and nature. Let's go out. Going north. I sat on my bed and connected to the internet. I needed to know how to get to my destination. Soon, it turned out that I had a few options. Internet told me that there's pretty decent night train to Chiang Mai. I could get a sleeper and use it. Yeah, pretty. I'm not sure how long we're gonna be in this journey. Oh, it's a year, right? I bought a ticket for an air-conditioned second-class reclining seat in Night Express train. The journey would take 14 hours. I went to the station. A giant throwback from Italy. There were a lot of things I expected here, but giant Italian neo-Renaissance building wasn't one of them. And yet there it was. Bangkok train station in all of its glory, with huge stained glass windows and a clock made in Germany, as I was informed by the cashier, who asked me where I was from. The station was quite crowded. All the benches were taken and a lot of people were sitting on the floor in the main hall. Going to my platform, I noticed at least 2 huge portraits of the king. On the train. The train was, in fact, quite modern, in some parts futuristic. I took my berth and started going through social media. Maybe after an hour, a guy in staff's clothes came to my compartment and started making the bed. It was a bit awkward, but other passengers seemed to be alright with it. He made all the beds and went out without a word, although he smiled politely. The night was dark. I couldn't see much through the window. I was getting a bit sleepy, so I went to bed and changed behind the curtain. I wonder what's going to happen next. Was this my road to self-discovery? Well, I was about to find out. I remember dreaming about diving in some lake, but it was also a forest. Trip to Chiang Mai. I think we can stop here and continue next time. Bangkok, I think she only stayed for like 3 days. Maybe I should have gotten off at Chinatown or the old city. But I'm also quite excited to see what Chiang Mai has to offer. Like the girl had said, it's a spiritual town? No, spiritual city of Thailand. Anyway, I'll see you next week. Bye bye.